Minimum wage has been a topic of discussion for many years, but detailed talks about the effect it is having on Americans post pandemic have been increasing as of late. Many politicians have made the promise of raising it a part of their campaign, while workers and employers constantly argue over whether or not the raise is necessary. But what is minimum wage exactly? Where did it come from? What makes it essential or non essential? And how is it integral to the economic system we live in today? Minimum wage was first introduced into the United States market in 1938 with the passing of the Fair Labor Standards Act. This occurred just shy of a decade after the start of the Great Depression. The amount was 25 cents, equivalent to $5.03 today. The minimum wage did not increase until 1961, but it tripled in amount to 75 cents, which is equivalent to $8.94. Already, we are seeing a better chance of being able to afford standard living than we have now in 2022. Since its establishment, the minimum wage has increased 22 times. However, the current minimum wage has not been raised in over a decade after being raised to $7.25 in 2009 during an economic crisis. The minimum wage has stopped increasing, but inflation stays at a steady incline. How has this affected the quality of life among Americans? Well, back in, let's say, the 1970s, people were able to afford a mortgage payment on minimum wage. In addition to this, they were able to afford their monthly groceries, gas, and more. Now, the amount made yearly on minimum wage, $15,078, is not enough to cover the annual fees of even basic expenses such as rent, mortgage, gas, car insurance, health insurance, etc. According to Medium, while a minimum wage worker from 1970 could have a pre-tax surplus of 35% left over after basic expenditures, a minimum wage worker in 2015 would be 6% in the hole, and that doesn't factor in income taxes, regressive taxes, and other required expenditures. What would you say are some of the struggles Americans face under the current minimum wage?
The struggles Americans face under the current minimum wage are monumental. While the rich thrive, people who work for pennies have to play a choosing game. Rent eats up most of their checks, so food becomes a luxury. You must choose whether to see a doctor or make a DIY cast, pay a car note or buy groceries, choosing between going to school or picking up extra shifts for rent. The list could go on forever.
With all of this in mind, why is it still that there is a debate going on about whether or not to raise the minimum wage? These opinions have origins of thought that run very deep, and not all of them are in defense of small businesses. Many express that minimum wage workers do not need to make more money because their jobs require minimal effort. Also, because many minimum wage workers are minors who attend high school, many feel that they don't need the money. Looking at the facts, this could not be farther from the truth. Minimum On top of using specialized machines and knowing how to work usually outdated technology, it is a known fact that food service workers have to deal with escalating situations with customers more than any other workers. In addition to this, the myth that they're mostly teenagers is false. 93% of minimum wage workers are over 20 and 40% are over 40. Why do you think minimum wage has stayed so low for as long as it has?
The minimum wage being as low as it is actually does benefit some people. It supports the discriminatory distribution of wealth and the unjustifiable salary and wages of the working class.
According to Maria Pontes at Des Moines, I was a teenager doing the job of adults in an environment that fostered unsafe working conditions, exploitation, sexual harassment, and emotional abuse, all for minimum wage and no benefits.
Wealth inequality in America was made abundantly clear when the pandemic hit, and billionaire wealth began to skyrocket. While thousands of people are risking their health to avoid eviction, of the more than 700 US billionaires, the richest five saw a 123% increase in their combined wealth during this period.
The reality is that minimum wage workers cannot afford to live without struggling. A very important question needs to be asked: what is going to be done about it?